Hey, Alex. It's really nice to sit down and talk today. How are you feeling?
Honestly, a little tired, but in a good way. You know those days where you've been thinking a lot, reflecting a lot?
Yes, those quiet, heavy days. I feel like those are the days when certain words suddenly mean more.
Exactly, and that's why I'm really glad we chose today's word. Today's word is self-worth.
When people first hear the word self-worth, they often think it means confidence or self-love. But it's actually much deeper than that. Self-worth is the value you assign to yourself as a human being, not because of what you achieve, not because of how productive you are, not because others approve of you, simply because you exist.
That's such an important point. Self-worth is not something you earn, it's something you recognize. Many people confuse self-worth with success. They think, if I succeed, then I am worthy. But self-worth works in the opposite direction. When you believe you are worthy, you choose healthier paths, even before success appears.
In English, we often use self-worth in reflective or serious contexts. You'll hear sentences like, "Her self-worth was damaged by constant criticism," or "Learning to protect your self-worth changed her life." These sentences show that self-worth is not abstract. It's lived.
One reason self-worth is such a sensitive topic is because it starts forming very early in life, often before we have the language to describe what we're feeling. As children, we learn who we are through the reactions of the people around us. We notice when we are praised, when we are ignored, and when love feels conditional. Over time, these experiences quietly teach us what we are worth, not in money or achievements, but in attention, care, and respect. If a child receives consistent support and reassurance, they begin to believe that their value is stable. They learn that mistakes do not erase their worth. But when approval depends on behavior, success, or obedience, a different belief forms, the belief that value must be earned. This belief often follows people into adulthood. It appears in the fear of making mistakes, the need to prove oneself constantly, and the feeling that rest must be justified. Many adults carry invisible rules they learned as children. Be useful, be quiet, be strong. Don't take up too much space. Because these lessons are learned early, they feel natural, even when they are harmful. That is why conversations about self-worth can feel emotional, uncomfortable, or deeply personal. We are not just discussing a word, we are touching the foundation of how people see themselves. Understanding this helps English learners use the term self-worth more accurately. It's not about ego or confidence alone. It's about long-term emotional development, identity, and the beliefs that shape our choices long before we consciously reflect on them.
Yes, many people grow up in environments where love, attention, or even basic emotional safety feel conditional. You are praised when you behave well, succeed academically, or meet expectations, and you are criticized, ignored, or compared to others when you don't. Over time, this creates a quiet but powerful message. Your value depends on performance. Children learn to associate approval with achievement and silence with failure. They begin to monitor themselves constantly, their behavior, their words, their emotions, in order to remain acceptable. This kind of environment often produces high achievers, but it also produces anxiety. People become skilled at meeting expectations, yet disconnected from their own needs. They may struggle to rest without guilt, to say no without fear, or to accept themselves without external validation. Using the word with this understanding allows learners to express complex ideas about identity, relationships, and personal growth with clarity and maturity.
This belief also affects boundaries. When self-worth depends on approval, setting limits feels selfish. Speaking up feels risky. People may stay silent to avoid conflict, even when something hurts them deeply. Over time, this silence can turn into resentment or emotional numbness. What makes this pattern especially harmful is that it often goes unrecognized. From the outside, these individuals may appear responsible, reliable, and strong. Internally, however, they may feel exhausted, unseen, or disconnected from their own needs. Understanding this helps explain why self-worth is not just a personal issue. It influences behavior, relationships, and long-term well-being. When English learners talk about self-worth with this level of clarity, they are not just using advanced vocabulary. They are expressing complex human experiences with honesty and depth. This does not mean women are weak. On the contrary, many carry extraordinary strength. But when strength is always directed outward, toward holding families together, supporting others, and absorbing pressure, it often comes at the cost of personal well-being. Understanding this context is essential when discussing self-worth in modern English. Self-worth is not about being endlessly resilient or selfless. It is about recognizing that care, respect, and dignity are not rewards for sacrifice. They are basic human needs. For English learners, being able to articulate this idea allows for more meaningful discussions about gender, identity, emotional health, and social expectations. It gives language to experiences that are often felt deeply but rarely expressed clearly.
This is why self-worth is not something most people naturally have. It's something we must relearn.
Your level of self-worth often determines the relationships you accept.
When self-worth is low, people may stay where they are undervalued, unheard, or emotionally drained because they believe that's the best they can get.
But when self-worth grows, tolerance for disrespect decreases. You start to understand that love should not require losing yourself.
In English, you may hear, "She realized her self-worth and walked away." Knowing your self-worth changes your standards. These sentences show self-worth as a turning point, a moment of clarity.
Self-worth also affects how we function at work.
People with healthy self-worth communicate more clearly. They ask for fair pay, set boundaries, and don't apologize for existing.
On the other hand, low self-worth can lead to silence, burnout, and feeling replaceable even when someone is skilled and hardworking.
In professional English, you'll see sentences like, "A strong sense of self-worth improves decision-making." Employees with self-worth are more likely to advocate for themselves. Using this word correctly shows emotional intelligence and maturity.
One of the biggest threats to self-worth today is external validation, likes, approval, praise, and comparison.
When your value depends on how others respond to you, your self-worth becomes unstable.
True self-worth is internal. It stays with you on good days and bad days. It doesn't disappear when you fail.
This doesn't mean you stop growing or improving. It means you grow from a place of respect, not self-rejection.
Building self-worth doesn't start with affirmations. It starts with behavior.
It starts when you keep promises to yourself, say no without guilt, stop explaining your boundaries, allow yourself to rest.
Each small action sends a message. I matter.
And over time, that message becomes belief.
Take a moment and reflect on these sentences. Try to finish them honestly. Self-worth means I protect my self-worth when One situation where I need stronger self-worth is
Your answers don't need to be perfect. What matters is awareness. That's where change begins.
And when you understand this word, truly understand it, you don't just improve your English, you improve your relationship with yourself.
Thank you for listening. Take care of your words and your worth.